But The Athletic was pretty bullish on the Pats before 4 p.m. rolled around. They predict the Patriots will finish with a 12-5 record and give them the highest chance of any team in the AFC to make the playoffs at 90%. The numbers do dip from there. 60% chance to win the East, 28% chance of landing the top seed in the conference, and a 32% chance of hosting a wild card game. All right, back here with the guys. Bert, I'm going to start with you this time. How do you think these deals in and around the NFL, in particular the ones in the AFC with the Colts and the Jaguars, how does that impact the Patriots?
I don't think the Jaguars one does much. I think the Colts does. I think the Colts, it's not only, it's a really good player coming aboard, and it was a huge need for them. They're basically turning over the next few weeks a weakness of theirs, which was the one position they were looking at before the trade deadline, into a massive strength. Because not only are they getting Sauce Gardner, they're getting Travaris Ward, who was a big money free agent, back from injury. So now all of a sudden Lou Anarumo is going to be able to handle his defense much differently. So I do think the Colts one does affect the race. And I think that there's always that, too, with a team like that hasn't won, where you send this message of urgency to your locker room, where you say, we're all in on you guys. And that's a group that they've built over the last 3 or 4 years. And it's affirmation for the quarterback, too, right? Because if you're going to pursue a replacement for Daniel Jones, you were going to do it with high picks, and trading those away tells you Daniel Jones is their guy.
Can I ask you why that's okay when the Patriots was?
Because, yeah. And so obviously, there's the whole thing about it being in division, right? Where if you were trading for Quinn Williams, but you're saying conceptually.
No, conceptually,
right?
You're saying.
Why go for it if you're the Colts and not if you're the Patriots?
Conceptually, because if you look at the Colts roster, they don't have a lot of holes. Almost their entire team is homegrown, right? So you look at just the way that they've been built, and that foundation is really solid. And I remember having discussions with people there over the summer. I thought this was one of the most interesting things I heard from any team over the summer. Was last year the Colts were 29th in total defense and 30th in giveaways, and they still won 8 games. And the message was, we're a lot closer than you think. And it's if we can just get a quarterback who can put his hands at 10-2, and we can get a defensive coordinator who can dial it up, we're going to be a playoff team, and probably a playoff team easily. And it was Lou Anarumo coming in to run their defense and Daniel Jones coming in to play quarterback. They believed in the rest of their roster, and they felt like over time they'd built that roster up. It's just a very different spot. You got a coach in his 3rd year.
Yeah.
You got a general manager in his 9th year.
For this year, it makes sense for them to be all in, and it makes sense for them to add defensively, because it did feel like there was an imbalance there. They really kind of were being carried by their offense and the great play that they were getting from that side of the ball. long term, I do wonder if this is smart because of the Daniel Jones factor.
Yeah.
It's half a season, and he's been great. The weather's been good. He's playing his games indoors, and obviously he'll continue to do that if they sign him long term, his home games at least. I would want to see it for a little bit longer than 9 games, Treni, before I basically sacrifice my right to be able to draft a quarterback up high, or maybe go and deal for one with one of these first-round picks. I need more than 9 games.
Now, I'm not sure on the player. I'm just not sure on the player.
On Sauce Gardner
on Sauce Gardner. Because the Jets paid him in July, and they traded him 3 months later. Yes, the Colts approached the Jets on it. But did the Jets see something in the first 2 months of the season where those new guys were if someone comes and asks, maybe we should listen? I just think that's how often have we seen that, right?
Or you could just say, you know what, if we're not getting that much more from this guy, we can get a first-round pick, and yes, it's going to be a later first-round pick because of the Colts situation right now. But we can get a first-round pick, and we'll have our own, and we can rebuild because we're clearly a horrible team and still need to do more building. So, but I'm not saying everything was
right.
rainbows and unicorns.
Sauce has been very up and down. He was excellent as a rookie.
First 2 years were good. Last year, it felt like it kind of went off the rails a little bit, and they still paid.
And so, and I remember Troy Brown. You guys were sitting on the set with me, I think. Troy Brown used to always say, "Money only makes you more of what you already are." Right. So, you wonder with Sauce, am I getting that weird look from you?
Well, he's saying if you're not a hard worker or you're not someone that money isn't going to make you work harder and going to make you a better person.
This has turned into a podcast.
It's going to make you more into what you already were. All right. The Colts obviously went all in to boost their roster, and that's where the comparisons are going to come in with the Patriots. But Greg Bedard said it is not the time and place for the Patriots to be aggressive with deadline moves.
10 of their 11 starters on offense are homegrown. On defense, they have at least 5 homegrown guys. You know how many the Patriots have? I mean, if you just take out this year's rookie, they have 4 on offense, 3 on defense. The Patriots are in the beginning stages of a rebuild, and you don't rebuild that, bottom layer, the youth, by trading away your draft picks by some guys who might be here for a year or two. We will get to the point where we're like one of these teams that is, quote unquote, going for it.
So you think Washington overcommitted?
Yes.
Yes, so Greg Bitter talking about the Washington Commanders there, not the Indianapolis Colts. You disagree with Greg?
I do. I think the Commanders have made basically one bad deal. The Marshawn Lattimore deal has not helped. It didn't help them at the end of last year. They gave away a bunch of picks. I understand that they are now down some draft picks, but they've got a good left tackle and Laramie Tunsil. Like, that's worthy of making that kind of trade when you have a young quarterback who's clearly ready to win. Deebo Samuel, to me, hasn't been the reason they have a losing record right now. The reason they have a losing record right now is because the quarterback either hasn't been on the field, or when he has been on the field, he's been banged up and he's been something less than 100%. So to me, I don't hate what the Commanders have done. And I do think, Tom, there is a way to improve. Again, this is reiterating what we've already said about the Patriots, but it's not black and white. It's not either you trade all your draft picks or you hold them all. Like, you can still be a team that builds through the draft and part with, when you have 2 fourths and 4 sixths for this upcoming spring, part with a couple of those to add a little bit of depth. There is a middle ground there that I don't think Greg's really acknowledging.
It's 11 picks they have. 11 guys aren't going to make the team. What are they going to do with those picks? Are they going to package and move up and take a 3rd rounder at some point and just incrementally move up, as Albert was alluding to? That all remains to be seen, as does the unknown, because they're not going to be transparent about, these are the deals we were on the cusp of making. They were asking for a 3rd. We weren't coughing that up. And then if we knew those things and we knew the players, then we'd say, all right, that makes sense. And we would move on to November 5th.
Curran, I feel like at the end of the day, what's most important is how successful can the Patriots continue to be, especially in, I think, a really wide open AFC. Has your feelings changed with the moves that other people have made about what they're capable of?
No, and that's because whatever new toy they imported, say it was who's the defensive end who went to Chicago?
Fremont Jones. To Chicago, it was
Joe Tryon.
Joe Tryon. Yeah. Okay. Couldn't pick him up in a line. If Joe Tryon walked into this studio right now, I'd say, hi, how are you? You seem to be a big fella. You play in the NFL?
Got long arms.
So to me, it's like, but had they done that, we'd be shooting off the confetti cannons because something happened. I don't know if they're going to lament that they should have done something. So to me, it doesn't alter how I think their fortunes will be. I still worry about the stray injury to an Austin Hooper or a Mac Hollins, and then the next thing you know, they are the equivalent of running Matthew Slater out at their wide receiver, or Steven Jackson and running back. I know I'm mixing in a whole bunch of different positions, but that's what happened in 2015. They had a mess of injuries, and all of a sudden they were not able to compete with the best player in the history of the game, a quarterback.
I just think, like, again, to me, like, where this puts you relative to everybody else in the AFC, I think you're in the same spot.
Yes.
You're a rising young program that I think is going to be really one to watch, is a team that's ready to take a step up to being a true, like, Super Bowl threat in 2026 with a few moves, right? Like, I think that's great progress for them, and I can't believe we're talking about that already. But I don't think this year they're good enough, if Buffalo's right, if Kansas City's right, if Baltimore's right, to beat those teams in the playoffs.